Okay, hello everybody. All right, so I'm going to try and make this video pretty quick. We're going to work through some of these topics throughout the first week or so of the semester, so not to worry, but I'm going to walk you through kind of VS Code generally, which I know you guys have been exposed to, but I'm going to show you a couple of features there. I'm going to show you Docker, which you're going to need to download and have working locally on your computer. It's a really lightweight piece of software, but we have to have that. And then I'm going to show you how to fork and clone in the VS Code environment, which you've probably already done. And then I'm going to show you the dev container environment, which is a virtual environment that we'll be using for the class throughout the semester. Okay, so first things first, this window that you see in front of you is VS Code, all right? And so on the left, you have a whole bunch of options relative to files. You'll see that I have the GitHub source here, all right? That's an extension. So the first thing I want to do is focus on the extensions. Now, you may have already done this in systems, but if you haven't, first thing you should do once you get VS Code up and running is type in UVA and look for the UVA Data Science Core extension pack. All right, and you just want to click on it and install them. Okay, I already have it installed, so if you don't, it'll say install. And then this is just a bunch of packages that are really helpful throughout the class. You include everything from GitHub Copilot, which is the large language model for Microsoft. Anyway, all of these packages that we selected and are going to be necessary in order to be able to get the virtual environment, including these dev containers, all right, to work correctly throughout the semester, all right? So a development container is just a virtual environment. Essentially, this is just a piece of software that's a wrapper for a Docker container, and a Docker container is just a way to compartmentalize your code, your working environment, your Python distributions, everything. So it's not like you have one gigantic kind of working environment to rule them all. What we want is to have individual, tailored kind of virtual environments for each one of our projects. Okay, and dev containers through VS Code allows you to do that really easily. And so, but in order for that to work, and I put a lot of this in the help documentation. I think actually VS Code has better help documentation than you'll get from me. But you have to have Docker running. So what you see here, and we'll get to this in a minute, is that these are all previous containers that I created for VS Code working environments, and none of them are activated right now because I don't have a dev container up and running. All right, so we're going to do that in a minute. But before we get started with any of that, the two things you should do is definitely install these extension packs. All right, you probably want to install more over time, and make sure that you've downloaded Docker. All right, so you have these two things running. All right. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is jump over to and this is Spacey. This is just a random repo that I pulled up that I'm going to fork and clone, just to walk you through the example of how to do this. It's a text, kind of an advanced kind of text analytics NLP package in Python. All right, so this is just your standard GitHub repo, right? So the first thing we're going to do, and this, what you want to do is you want to go to the 3021 repo. All right, I developed that repo, so I can't fork and clone it. All right, so I'm just using Spacey as an example, but this is what you're going to want to do for the 3021 repo that supports the class. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go in, and you've probably done this, but just as a refresher, create a fork. All right, and this will fork in, assuming you're logged in, which should be into your own GitHub account. It'll fork the name of the repo straight. You can change it if you want to. I think it's easier just to leave it as is, and so it'll create a fork right into your GitHub working space. All right, that was pretty fast. That's good. All right, and so now we see that I have this Spacey repo inside my kind of tree. Right, Nova Volunteer is my handle, and now I have Spacey here. Okay, and you can always delete the fork if you want. All right, but the next thing we're gonna do, all right, is we want to clone this repo that's now in based on our GitHub online, and we want to get a local version of it so we can use it in the classroom. All right, so we can use it, so you guys can use it on your local computer, make changes, upload files to it, all of that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here to File, and we're just going to do a new window, right? And again, VS Code makes a lot of this really easy, all right? And then you're just going to click on the clone GitHub repository. All right, it's going to pull up a window and ask for the URL. And so the URL is located here. You just copy this URL, right? We're using the kind of online protocol. So we'll just copy that. We'll go back. We'll probably have to pull it up again. We'll do File, new window. Here we go. I have many windows up now. Yeah, I do. All right, we'll just get rid of one. All right, so here's our new window. I'm just going to click on that, and then we just paste it in. And then what it's going to do is ask us where we want that folder to be located. All right, and we can just call it whatever you want to call it. Oops. Oh, now it's cloning it. Okay, I think it's just going to call it Spacey. All right. All right, this sometimes takes a little bit of time. Hopefully it won't take too long. You can see the bar there. It's cloning, it's cloning, it's cloning. All right, there we go. Yes, let's open the repository, please. Okay, and then here you'll see that you have all the files, right? Locally where let's just get rid of that. All right, all the files for this particular GitHub repo, and the same thing will happen for 3021. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you that example, the 3021. So I'm going to get rid of this. All right. Get rid of this. I'm just going to close it out. All right. And then we're going to close this out. All right. And I guess I'll just do I'll do a new window again. All right. And now because I've been working in this space, it should pop up in my recents. So here it is. All right. Now notice before I open this, it says dev container. Okay. So what I've done is I've developed a Docker file and a dev container file, a YAML file, right, in this repo already. So when you clone it, right, assuming that you went through the steps that you did before where you had the package extensions from UVA Data Science to include the dev container extension and desktop and this, Docker running, as soon as you open this environment, it will create automatically create a virtual environment for you and a Docker container. All right. So that's what it says it's doing there right now. So it's connecting to the dev container, and once we get it up and running, I'll show you kind of the specifications that it's using to do that. All right. And what we'll see right over here is that now we have activated, right, a container inside Docker Desktop. This is why you have to have this file locally. It shows you kind of the CPU use. It kind of spikes and then goes down. So we're using this one here, all right? So that environment is activated, all right? And we can see that down here in our terminal, right? So we're no longer kind of working. Get rid of this. All right. See here, we're no longer working in our kind of local file tree, all right? Now we're inside this container, all right? And that's why it's called Workplace, VS Code Workplace. No matter what particular container you're using, it will always say Workplace, and then it will have the name of the root file there. And so this is all done with just with one file here, okay? So it's done because of this dev container JSON file. So this is all written in JSON. If you don't know JSON, that's fine. I don't know JSON very well either. All right, but this is like a standard Docker container available inside the VS Code environment, inside this extension. So we just selected the Python 3 development container, and it built it for us. All right, and so now we have this fully functional, contained virtual environment, all right, and we can begin to use it throughout the semester. And what you'll see is you'll have all the files just like this. You should see them in your file tree, all right. And I'm going to clean a lot of this up for the beginning of the semester, but you'll see a lot of these files here from the 3021 repo, and you can have access to them, all right. And now you can read and write back and forth to your own GitHub repo, your own cloned version, your own forked version of this particular repo. Okay? All right, so again, we're going to work on all this in great detail in the first couple of weeks, but I just wanted to show you how this is going to work. The two key things, again, is just to make sure to have this Docker kind of downloaded and ready to go, all right? And then also have the extension pack in VS Code. And then when you fork and clone the repo into your local space, it should spin up this development container right away. And then we don't have to worry about any issues associated with, mismatching packages or, kind of operating environments. Everything will be the same for everybody. It just makes it a lot easier. Okay, that's it for now, and looking forward to the semester, and I'll see you all soon. All right.